what's really difficult now is the Harris campaign just doesn't seem to care about Arabs and Muslims. There's a kind of indifference to them, even a kind of disregard for our community. And there was a really, shocking example of the Harris campaign kicking out a prominent Arab Democrat from an event in Michigan, and he was seated, he was invited to it, but then they escorted him out.
I signed up to attend Vice President Harris rally, as you see behind me, and I went through the security, and I got my seat. I was sitting there. Then they called me and they kicked me out of the rally.
People complain that Arabs and Muslims are being emotional, and of course, Donald Trump is worse. So we should just kind of suck it up and vote for Kamala Harris and just deal with it. But voting is a very emotional act and it's a matter of conscience. So people just don't feel comfortable voting for a candidate who doesn't respect them. It's that sense of deeper disrespect for our community. I think more people are willing to vote for Trump as a kind of protest vote because they're so angry at the Biden administration and Kamala Harris that they're just going to go for whatever the opposite is. But I think it's also worth noting that there is a significant part of the Arab and Muslim community that is more socially conservative. I think it's worth remembering, though, that Donald Trump has said that Netanyahu should just finish them off. Like those are the kinds of statements that you've heard from Trump before, and now all of a sudden people are forgetting that. I mean, and also his son-in-law Jared Kushner has said things like, "Oh, the Israelis should just finish the job."
Actually, Israel is the one, and you should let him go and let him finish the job. He doesn't want to do it. He's become like a Palestinian, but they don't like him because he's a very bad Palestinian. He's a weak one.
And I think it's just easy for people to forget about that. And let's also not forget how Donald Trump, when he was president, moved the embassy to Jerusalem, or the fact that there's been a lot of sympathy towards settlers. So at least Democrats pretend that they don't want settlements to happen, even if they don't do anything about it. But with Donald Trump, there wasn't even a pretense of that. If Democrats lose and they lose because of Michigan, then I think the lesson will be unmistakable that they should have paid more attention to Arab and Muslim voters. But there's another risk that they could blame Arab and Muslim voters and say that it's their fault that Democrats didn't get the presidency. So I think there's different ways to interpret a loss, but certainly I think there will be a lesson that you can't ignore Arab and Muslim constituencies in key states. But I think people should vote because at the very least, Arabs and Muslims should be expressing their preferences and making a choice. I have my own views about what my own preference would be for this election, but at this point, because I'm so disillusioned with the Harris campaign and with Democrats on this issue, I don't feel comfortable telling people that they should vote for Kamala Harris, even though I am really afraid of what 4 years of Donald Trump could look like.